My people, what I do? We back. I'm back with another episode of All Black Men Need Therapy. My name is Chief.
And I'm Bell.
And we about to get the show rolling. Our player partner, homie Prentice, is out doing his thing. We'll talk about that in a second. But hey, what's good, man? I feel like, you know what's crazy? I talk to you every day.
Literally every day. Like Lorraine actually gave me shit about how much we talked yesterday.
Why she hating?
She was just like, you want to phone him again?
Tell her to get some better friends.
That's exactly what I said. Like, don't get mad because you ain't got no best friends. I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah, I'm gonna tell you. Anyways, so it's crazy because we talk every day, but this form is just different, bro. So it's like,
no, but that speaks to why we do it though.
Right.
Like there's no question that Black men speak to each other every day, but the question is what y'all talking about.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just your day-to-day stuff that's happening, which is great. But there's typically there's no time dedicated to mental health check-ins, right? Like, how you doing? Like, what's going on? You know what I mean? So you're right. Like, that's indicative of a lot of us, right? And a lot of relationships we carry. So
we spend way more time talking shit than doing mental health check-ins on the phone, for sure.
Yeah, and don't get me wrong, like that's a form, right? But with our particular conversations, it can go on literally for weeks, and there could be something that's plaguing one of us, and if one of us doesn't bring it up, then it won't be brought up if we don't, pry, you know what I mean, and intentionally go after that portion of our mental. But anyway, as far as my check-in, man, I'm good, man. I got a lot going on, bro, like a lot. And I need to find a therapist sooner than later. Nothing's wrong. Things are only going to get busier. And I want to just continue to grow and help with these new things I'll be encountering. But yeah, things are well, man. I just got back from Mexico. My cousin got married, went down to Playa del Carmen for 3 days. Hindsight being 2020, we should have made it 4. It was three nights. 4 days, but we should have made it 4 nights. It was a good time, and the resort was beautiful. Felt good to get back to Mexico, get out of the country. So that was good. I'm going to Florida tomorrow. Spent some time with my second mom down there and my brother. And one of my really, really, really good friends having a bachelor party. So I'm going to kill 2 birds with 1 stone when I go down there. And work, man, work is popping. Like work is going extremely well.
I'm gonna hit you tomorrow. We're gonna talk about that too, because I ain't been caught up in a while. You know, I like listening to them stories, so I'm gonna check in for sure.
Yeah, man. It's working. That's what I'll say, right? Like what I'm attempting to do, the team's buying, it's working, right? Like they're doing the work, and we're growing, and we're, believe it or not, man, even through all the shit, we're on our way to a banner year, which is crazy because our team went through a lot, especially with a new leader and me coming in, and things are going well at work. No complaints at all. That's why I feel good about going on vacation, which is going to play into what we're going to talk about. But how you doing? What's up with you? I know you
good, man. I don't know if you told the folk nephew walking and whatnot. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if you told him that. It's been a while, but I don't know if the people on the podcast know. Nephew's out here stomping.
Yeah, man. He had his physical today, actually. We had his physical today.
All right.
And my dude is literally off the charts for everything. Like, the doctor was like, yeah, he weighs as much as my 5-year-old. She was like, granted, my 5-year-old's tiny. But yeah, he weighs, my son's 15 months. So just for perspective. But yeah, he's literally off every single chart. He's above 99 percentile for every height, weight, head circumference. For all y'all that got jokes.
I was gonna have, but I'm gonna let that slide.
Yeah. So yeah, he's walking around, walking upstairs. Dude's crazy. He was just lunatic. But anyway, yeah, I was gonna tell you, we let the world know about your car trials and tribulations.
I still ain't. First of all, I've been calling my man every day, giving him my car drama and just like seeking his financial expertise because he's one of my more financially savvy friends. and I just be out here impulsively shopping and shit. But I haven't found one yet. I know what I want, and I'm gonna wait a couple months and let the price lower. The new ones will be out. I'll get a 2021 that'll still be new for me. And my first very brand new car. I'm stuck. I'm set on that. Regardless of what I get next, it's gonna be brand new. You know what I'm saying?
You got money, y'all.
I ain't got no money. But my shorty started pitching lessons. She getting nice with it. Major P just started softball. I mean, flag a couple days ago. He's still running around.
He don't want to do baseball?
Yeah,
or T-ball, softball. I don't know.
Football season, cuz. Yeah, T-ball. He did baseball.
No, I know that now. I was just all I knew about was that and like soccer.
No, he finished baseball.
Oh, he did baseball. I couldn't remember. Okay. All right.
Yep. And football, he had his first full-on collision.
Wait, he didn't pass now.
No, but he took it. He's in flag, but he run up on cats. You know what I'm saying? You're hard like that. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So that was cool.
Every team got one.
Outside of not having a car, man, I tell you what, I don't want to shout dude out because I want to keep whatever. But it was crazy, homie from a long time ago. Haven't talked to him, and we talk, I don't know, once a year on some head nod type stuff. Pulled up in front of the crib like, yo, you need a car? I got 2 of them. Hold on to this for a while. Let me know when you want to give it back. I thought that was real cool. Like, just shows the heart of some people, man. Just out of the blue. Talk to homie, like I said, once a year, and it's a head nod. You know what I'm saying?
And I think as important as the character in people is the character in you. You know what I'm saying? Like the fact that you don't have. I would say the relationship with you and him was the strongest in maybe 2011, and even then it wasn't like super strong.
Right.
And the fact that you guys communicate to the extent that you do, and he saw your post about your car, and then that was the first thing he did was to pull up on you. He didn't ask no questions, nothing. He just pulled up on you. So I thought that was super dope. And again, I think again another trait that we all have is we don't give ourselves credit. Like that's a lot of credit to you for being the person that you are. For him to
right. And I felt bad taking it, and I still feel bad kind of holding on to the whip. But I'm like, yo, I'm texting him like, yo, I'm not gonna drive your junk crazy. Like I'm gonna take care of it. And he's like, yo, if I didn't trust you, I wouldn't give it to you. And
right.
Like, I'm like, that's it's just dope. It's a dope feeling to have people in your corner when you the least person you expect to pull up on you like, yo, take my car until you get a new one. You know what I'm saying? Like that's dope. And I don't want to take advantage of it. So I'm trying to do my own thing, get it back, and you know what I'm saying, whatever. But
I feel like that's how it be though. I feel like it be the people, I don't want to say that you least expect, but the people that's come out of nowhere when you need them, right? You don't even know that they're there for you, know, until something happens.
Right. Because I'm telling you, in all of my struggles, he wouldn't be someone I would think of calling.
Right.
You know what I'm saying, and for him to pop up, it's like, yo, that was so dope, man. I'm so appreciative of this. So today I got his rear brakes done for him, you know what I'm saying? As like, thanking him for the looking out, so whatever. So that was kind of cool. But
we can leave it at that. That's what's up.
So transitioning to P, Prentice is now a football dad. Both his boys are playing football. He's hella dumb hype about it, which is cool. But transitioning to today's topic, P, be mindful of your boys' mental health in playing these games. And we talking about just the mental health of people in sports in general, or just people in general. This was about, needing therapy or whatever, but particularly with the rising situation with Simone Biles and Naomi Osaka, I believe it is, you know what I'm saying, with their mental health issues in the vast, large public eye, making choices to remove themselves from specific events that all eyes are on. And it's a lot, and people have so much to say about it, you know what I mean? But before we get into that, can you think back, Bellhead, to a position or a time in your athletic career where you may not have known then, but looking back at it now, your mental health was severely impacted, or you made a decision to protect your mental health, or vice versa? You know what I'm saying? Someone made a decision and wasn't paying attention to your mental health. Or
I'll give a very, very elementary example of me specifically. So for those who have like caught up on the Simone Biles thing, obviously being an Olympian is 99.999999999% of this population will never understand what that is.
Right.
Um, so I was reading up on it or listening to like what's happening with her and everything like that. And we'll get into that in a second. But I was just thinking about what she said in her words and how the pressure, right? The pressure that they receive as an Olympic athlete. I mean, I don't give a shit if you don't medal. If you're an Olympic athlete, like you're the elite of the elite, right? So, and I was thinking about what she's specifically going through right now, and the only thing that I can compare to, and just perspective, guys, right? I played Division One football, but I didn't play in SEC, right? I played in the Big East, which was respectable, but it wasn't, you know, major college football. We played some major college teams, but my point is, I played at a high level, but there's levels at a high level, right?
Right.
So that's one. Two, I say that because I'm not trying to compare my situation to her, but what I'm saying is I understand that feeling that she's going through to a degree. So she's talking about anxiety, she's talking about all the things, all the pressure, everything like that. So quick story. I played at the University of Connecticut, right? And my class was the first Division One class, and we built a brand new stadium, right? So it was a 40,000 seat stadium. And my first game there, I remember, like it's been so much hype. Like that's why I came to the school. It was a brand new facility, like all the bells and whistles. Now I remember I was a redshirt freshman, so that means that was my I was a redshirt junior. That means it was my third year playing, and I had one more year to play after that. Anyway, um, I remember getting so hyped for the game, like playing Dipset, DMX, all the get hype stuff, right?
Word. Word.
And and I run out of the tunnel, man, and seeing and hearing 40,000 fans for the first time. Like we played in like a 16,000 um seat stadium before. So hearing that and it being at capacity, I literally was debilitated. Like my adrenaline was so high that I just like shut down. So like I shut down and I couldn't function. Like I had to go see the trainer and everything. I really I couldn't function. It didn't last long, but it lasted long enough for people to notice. You know what I mean? So like I got too hyped up, which I didn't even know was a thing. And that caused me in the moment to change my pregame process. So because I would be so hyped running out there was literally nowhere else for my emotion or adrenaline to go. So what I started doing is changing what I listened to. So pregame, I went from listening to all get hype music to like literally 70s soul music. Like I used to bang the Dead Presidents soundtrack, the Dead Presidents, the movie soundtrack, and that used to just mellow me out. And then when I ran out on the stadium, then I would get to max capacity,
Mm-hmm.
and I would go from there. But that's when I was listening to Simone. That was the only thing that I could equate it to. And again, another thing that you need to keep in perspective is the level of athlete she is. So I'm not a doctor, but I would imagine that the level of stress and anxiety is relative to the level at which you compete.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Like it's just levels. Like it's cliche as that is, it's just levels. And they said she has what's called the twisties, which is like vertigo for gymnasts
Right.
for all intents and
You in
purposes.
the
So
air flipping, your body telling you to twist or some shit. Like, yeah.
yeah, you get there. You're supposed to be flipping, but your mind is telling you should be twisting.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what ended up happening. And then that once she told everybody that, that's when they got it became real for the rest of her team, from what I understand, just based on the reports that I read and listened to. So, but we're gonna talk about how athletes are just not treated equally or fairly, right? But anyway, that's my example. What about you? What when
I
you
don't
think back?
really, I can't say that I have. I mean, when I think back to my mental health, I just think about like wanting to quit several times and not being, I mean, I guess that's more of a perseverance type thing. I'm not, I mean, it could be mental health too,
No,
but
it's mental health too, because I mean it's waned. You got to a
right.
point where you want to quit.
I
Clearly, your mental
remember my
health isn't all
my
intact.
first week of school. I remember calling my mom and being like, I want to come home. Like, I hate this. And my mom was like, well, pack your shit and come home. And in my, like, in my head, I knew she knew what to say to me in that moment to get me to
Right.
be like, because if she tried to encourage me, I would have probably been like, nah, you know what I'm saying? Like, all right, nah, I'm tired, I'm done. But she was like the complete opposite of what I expected. And it made me like, no, I ain't coming home. Like, get out of
Right.
here with that. You know what I'm saying? Like, nah, I'm about to fight this out. And that was that it weighed on me mentally. And my junior year, I remember I had gotten hurt twice. You know what
Hmm.
I'm saying? And lost one whole season and got hurt in the spring. And I just remember like being defeated, yo, being real defeated. And then we went to practice one day and I balled out, had like a phenomenal practice. And afterwards, coach was, he said something about just me being aggressive and whatever. And I remember I remember walking back into the locker room and like, no bullshit. It was like it
Hmm.
clicked. Like it clicked for me. And like, this is how you, like, this is what you need to do consistently. Like, and it wasn't like I was practicing soft or whatever, but like maybe I just, we got a stigma of being hard hitting from New Britain, and I was a pretty good hitter, and
Right.
I just wasn't as aggressive as he needed me to be and shedding blocks and like things like that. So when like it clicked for me, and from that point forward, it was like, okay, now I understand, and I think it was a mental barrier I had somewhere, but that one conversation kind of just helped me turn the page and be able to do what I was supposed to do.
Yeah, man. You know what I think too with this whole situation? Like, I feel like offended maybe is the right word, because I feel like there's a constant attack on black women,
I mean,
right?
that ain't gonna stop.
I know, but I feel like people just wait for opportunities to be quote unquote justified by attacking black women. You know
Oh
what I
yeah,
mean? Like,
because
if
now they
you,
talking about, oh, she quit on her team and blah 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 blah, and it's like, yo, fam, like, understand what she has a right to protect her mental health.
yeah, but that's the thing, man. That's the thing. And it always begs the question, right? It always begs the question, if if this was a white athlete, would we be having the same conversation? I don't know. Like, I can't say that we wouldn't. I can't say that we wouldn't, but I can say that there's been enough injustice towards us for us to question it, right? Like, there's been enough for us to question it, and I don't feel like it's fair. Like, I feel like, I mean, not that life needs to be fair, but I just feel like you love these athletes, and this is athletes in general, right? You love these athletes when they're up, right? When they're doing what you want them to do. And the second that they try to do something for themselves, it's like, no, like, you
Right,
have an obligation to fulfill all my needs.
right,
Where it's like,
right.
bro, you sound crazy,
And I mean,
you know?
it's as sad as, I mean, as fucked up as it's gonna say, but it's kind of like, fuck them people. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day,
Mhm.
that's kind of what we said. Yo, I don't got time to be catering to y'all. Like, this is about me. You know what I'm saying? And you're right. When they take that moment, they get shunned by the entire world.
And it's like, yo, how long do you expect, right? And maybe non-athletes will never understand this. So maybe I'm um preaching to the choir and with you, because you'll understand. But it's like, how long do you expect somebody to perform at that level without some type of mental wear and tear?
Right.
Right?
So
Again, man, we're not talking about your JV high school basketball player.
nah, we talking about the
Like, the
absolute
best in
best
the
in
world,
the
Craig.
world.
Not just the city, the
Right.
world.
Not the city, Craig. Like,
Yeah.
of the
Like,
best. So did you hear what they tried to do to Shorty though?
what specifically?
They basically, so the way I understood it was basically, it was kind of like, she's the best of the best. And
Mm-hmm.
because she's so good and no one else can compare, they wanted to minimize her scoring points, her points scored, to balance it out for everyone else. So it's
So
kind of
that's
like,
like everybody gets a trophy.
It's kind of like, Tom Brady throws a touchdown pass, you only get 4 points because he's so good.
I didn't hear that. I didn't
Yeah,
hear
so
that.
that's the equivalent of like Mike, LeBron's out here killing them. Only give him 1 point for every bucket he scores instead of two.
No, I did not hear that, and
Yeah.
that is insane.
So that's kind of what it is. And that's legit what happened. That's like, yo, that's crazy, fam.
Yeah, and that's the thing, man. It's like you got to think Olympics only come around every 4 years. Well, with the exception of this year because of COVID. But like that's their full-time jobs. Like these Olympians, they don't work, right? They don't work in corporate and train on weekends. Like
Right.
that's all they do. That is their life. So for somebody to put that much time in and for them to say, no, I gotta pause, you can't where's your humanity? It's
At the
like
at the most pivotal point in her career, the thing she's worked so hard for,
all she does is this.
right?
You know what I mean?
Trained for this particular moment, and to be like, yo, I'm not ready to do it. I can't do it no more. And then you're gonna shun her for that? Like, come on, B.
And that's so I got this thing, right? I got this thing, man, where I feel like powerful black women, I feel like they are people get insecure about it, right? I think powerful black women, and not everybody, obviously, but specifically in white women that I've noticed, and again, not all white women, I'm just saying what I've noticed is there's been a lot of like venom being spit towards these black women, right? Like I think about Kamala, um, Kamala Harris, our vice president, and I'm reading like two white women in particular that I know, like I know them. Right, one of them went to my wedding, and I'm just reading like how angry and upset they get over, for lack of a better term, let's just call it an oversight, right? And like talking about I want to knock her out, like I hate her. I'm like, you let this person get you that riled up
Right.
over them saying have a happy Memorial Day or a happy long weekend or whatever it
Do
was. I'm
you
like,
think it would be the same if it were a white male president? Would they say the same thing?
no, but that's what I'm saying. It's just something. And again, it's just I'm not saying that this is a fact, guys. I'm saying this is just what I've observed. That when it comes to black women, there's a lot of white women that I don't know if they feel attacked. I don't know if they feel triggered because they don't measure up, right? And they just try to tear them down. Like I don't have an answer. I'm not a white woman, right? And I'm not specifically I'm not these white women that made these comments, but it just bothers me, man. It bothers me to the point where it's like, damn, like who are you inside at your core?
Right.
You know, like because nothing that anybody says to me, I shouldn't say to me, says that I observe that's not directed at me, my family, my friends, is going to get that much of a rise out of me.
Right.
Right? Like I don't, quite frankly, don't care enough about what you're doing, president or not. You know, like if it's impacting my people, then yeah, I'm gonna definitely care, right? I'm gonna have my opinions, I'm gonna have my feelings. But some of the things I've seen online, and a lot of them is from Fox reporters too. And I'm like, yo, like, why? Like, what happened in your life that somebody says something harmless and you just it's like off with their head? And the same thing with Simone Biles. It's like my girl wants to take time for her mental health. And it's like, oh, well, she had time to do this, she had time to do that. It's like, you guys really understand how serious this is?
Right.
Like, remove the person, right? What if it's your aunt that needs time for her mental health?
Right.
Is it like, you know what I'm saying? But that's what my point is. I know I'm going off on a tangent, but my point is athletes, specifically black women, are never given the benefit of the doubt. And that's what bothers me, you know, having a black daughter. You know what I'm saying? And it's just like what it's just crazy. And I don't know when we'll get there, but that's just something that it particularly irks me because it's just
Well, I
like,
mean,
It's
I
not
have
called
seen
Prentice.
an abundance of support for Simone Biles with a lot of, a lot of celebrities, a lot of marquee names in the industry showing love and showing support. And for the most part, the pages have turned now, and people are looking at it from a more understanding perspective, which is also dope. But Simone's doing it. She's doing the right thing. She has her own, like, you heard she opened like her own gym. I don't know where it's at, but like her own gym to help, female, or help the gymnasts feel safe. Remember they had the whole predatory situation
Yeah.
before coach and
Hmm.
whatnot, and they work on the gymnastics and all the mental health stuff. So that's pretty dope. And I heard Naomi Osaka's on the same thing. People gave her a bunch of shit when she dropped out of the French Open or whatever. You know what I mean? Like,
Yo, I'm not gonna hold you. What I thought initially, I thought Simone was doing this like in support of Naomi.
oh,
Like
okay,
like
yeah,
that's what I initially thought. I'm like, yo, that's dope because Simone's a bigger name. They're
right,
both huge. Like I'm
right,
not trying to minimize Naomi Osaka, but Simone has a bigger name,
mhm.
right? She's literally unequivocally the best in the world. There's no debate about that.
Ever.
And I'm like, maybe she's doing this to hold her down,
Mhm.
right? And which I think would be, I mean, that level of sacrifice that's huge, and I think that's dope. But if she's not, it is in fact her own mental health, that's important, right? So my point is, whatever the reason, I think is justifiable either way.
Right,
Like if
right,
it's in fact her mental health is in jeopardy, then take time. If it's I'm riding with Naomi, that's dope too,
right.
because maybe her thought was, again, I'm not saying this is true, but my thought process was she'll get more people to respect it. You know what I'm saying? Because it's now two athletes, two black athletes, right? Two high performing athletes. Now it's going to start the conversation, So
Yeah,
that was my take on it.
and that all make and that all it all makes sense. Even if she was just doing it on the strength of, like, I support my homegirl, that's enough. Like you said, it's enough. It's enough people
Yeah,
to go, you know what? You gotta respect that. And it helps people
yeah,
maybe look at it like, yo, we have to find a way to get more people to support black women because they got it rough, yo.
yeah. I just had I'm on our DE&I board, and we just brought in these it's nonprofit to help us. And the whole time he was talking to white male, he runs the program. And as I'm listening to him, all I was thinking is he's gonna make a lot of people uncomfortable, right? Because he's like he said something to me, not to me, to the team. And it was like profound when he said when he addresses white males or white people, he's white, like I said, and he confronts them with their biases. And he said, and typically what their response is, I'm not racist. And he's like, well, it's not enough for you to be not racist. He's like, because if that's the case, that's a very low bar.
Right,
You know what I'm saying?
right,
He's like,
right.
you need to be anti-racist, And I'm like, holy shit, I never thought about it like that. Like that's the bar you set for yourself, not to be racist.
Hmm.
Like damn. But it just provided perspective, and I think that's the evolution, right? Getting people to understand that we all got biases, right? Myself included. Against our own people at times. But it's just a bias. It's unconscious, and it just happens sometimes.
How do we
And
how do you think we assess that? How do you think we look at, we how do we find a mirror or a friend or a companion and assess or identify what our biases may be?
I mean, dude, you can Google unconscious bias training. Like, there's so many things that you can do to identify your own biases. We have, I'm sure, the school district has something,
Let's make it an
right?
episode, yo.
Like,
Let's
take the test.
let's make it an episode. Let's see what some of our unconscious biases are. Expose ourselves right here in front of the people. You know what I mean? Record it and
Oh
put it
yeah,
out there.
I mean,
And be
I
like, boom.
can.
You know what? I didn't even realize I was like this. You know what I'm saying? That's all.
You've never done it before?
No, I never have.
Yeah, I've done it a number of times. We all got them, bro. I'm
Oh,
telling
for
you.
sure. I'm
Like,
sure I do. Not even realizing it though.
and
You know
it
what I'm
and
saying?
it's and it's not even. It's so subtle, right? Like you wouldn't, at no point you look at that and be like, I didn't, like, at no point you look at that like, damn, I'm a racist. You'd be like, yo, I didn't even mean it like that, or I didn't think about it like that. It's completely unconscious,
Mm-hmm.
completely unconscious. We all got them. Even the people who run these organizations teaching anti-racism, they have them. Like it's just one of those things. Like we all have them. It's just like you said, being able to identify them.
Right.
So yeah, we can definitely do that. I can pull one up for us and we can take it. But
So I mean, just as you're talking, I'm thinking, I'm just going, you know what, like as far as the finance stuff, like how do we need some
help,
therapists, some
help,
therapists.
y'all.
We need some therapists to tap in and and be a sponsor, first of all, do that. But we would like to promote your business and kind of show people how and where they can get help. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people, they may not feel comfortable Google. I don't know. But if we can be like, yo, call this person, call that person. We got some numbers. We
Yeah,
wait to the end of the episode, check these numbers out, call them up, let them know what's going on. Because I think people need access to this support. And if they don't know it's there, then they probably
and I think people need the encouragement, right? I think this platform allows us to speak about. Like I said, I'm like I also want you guys to hold me accountable. Like this is like probably like the fifth or sixth episode where I mean I've been in Boston for 6 months now. There's really no excuse for me not to have found a therapist out here. So this is a perfect example. I know the benefit of therapy. I'm educated enough to understand how to find a therapist, and I'm acknowledging I need to find one, and I still haven't done it yet.
right.
Right. And I've been here 6 months. So it's like there's people
So
who haven't even come to
I'm on your
terms.
heels then, bro. I'm on your heels for that, just to make sure you stay where you're supposed to be.
Yeah, I got to get one. And like I said, everything is fine. But that's the other thing. The misconception is you don't have to get a therapist because things aren't fine. In fact, I would argue when things are going great, that's when you need to get a therapist the most. You know what I mean? To be proactive, right? Because when you know the old saying, more money, more problems, right? So it's like when things start changing in your life for the better, you're exposing yourself. Like Prentice talked about this at length, right? Like he's getting all these doors opened up, and now he's dealing with things that he may not have had to deal with before, you
Mm-hmm.
know. And that's just human nature. It's just life. So that's why I'm like, okay, I need to be more proactive, or proactive in general, because I'm not right now. I'm being very reactive, and I don't want to get to that point where I'm like, ooh. Oh, another thing I want to mention, and we could probably make this another episode. Actually, we are going to make this another episode, but essentially, I was going to reference my mental health and how um, I finally feel comfortable taking a 5 day vacation, right,
From work.
from work.
See,
Yeah,
so people would assume that I mean, because at first you was worried about leaving the baby, with your moms and mamita for a little while because you didn't want to wait too long. But now you're willing to step away from work, like, yo, everything gonna be all right. I'm gonna go take care of
yeah, and
myself.
it's not like this just happened. It's just something that I now feel comfortable talking about and doing because we're gonna make an episode of this, but I feel like people of color, man, we always feel like we're not afforded the same luxuries as everybody else,
Yeah,
and we're gonna talk about it, but it's not like anybody told us not to take a 5 day vacation, but nobody encouraged us to.
right, right.
You know what I'm saying?
So I'm not gonna front. Like I saw this quote one day, and it was something along the lines of, "If you passed away today, your job will hold a moment of silence and replace you the next day."
Mm-hmm.
And they was like, take them personal days. And I'm just like, you know what? As much as I'd like to believe I'm important in that place, lately I haven't been feeling much that way. But at the end of the day, I'm like, if I got a vacation to go on, or I need to break, I'm taking it. Ain't
Yeah,
no questions about it. Like no ifs, ands, or buts
I'm a,
about it.
and not for nothing, man. Like if there's ever been a time in the Black community where it's justified, it's now, right? Just in general, like with everything that's been happening over the last 18 months in general, you know what I'm saying? Like we need time to ourselves, and there's more time in the day than we give ourselves credit for. You know what
Call
I'm
out,
saying? Call
call
it.
out. We say, Bill, I'm not above calling out from the parking lot.
Or shit, yo, I'm gonna get Brianna here to tell her story about that, but she called out forever in the parking lot the other day. I'll let her tell it, but yeah, man. But again, related to mental health, same thing. You know what I'm saying? Same
Yeah,
thing. Maybe I'll have her on the episode actually when I talk about that. I think that'd be good.
yeah,
So
that'll be dope. But yo, man, I think. Well, first of all, shout out to you and P. I held it down the last episode. I checked it out. I was listening. I laughed my ass off. Y'all boys, you know what I mean? Not that you couldn't. I didn't expect you to, but, you know, it was just weird not being a part of it. You know what I'm saying?
that's the first
But,
one you missed.
yeah, I know. I know. First
Yeah.
one I missed. Nevertheless. So what's up? How we going to close it? What's your final thoughts on this one?
My final thoughts, man, is this: give people more grace. All right, give people more grace. Give people the benefit of the doubt. And because I was talking to one of my salespeople today about a situation, and he had feelings about a situation, and I said, look, man, if you give them the benefit of the doubt, they could burn you, 100%. But if you don't give them the benefit of the doubt, you'll get burned every single time.
Every single time.
Right? Like I said, in one way, shape, or form, you'll get burned every single time. So it really doesn't cost us much to give people the benefit of the doubt and give people some grace. So
Right.
that's my final thought.
In certain situations. But, you know, other situations, people have already taught you how to treat them. So handle that accordingly.
Yeah, you give people. I'm right. You give them the benefit of the doubt initially,
Hmm.
and then you see what happens. If they burn you, then now you know what's what.
Right.
All right. But a lot of times people just need that benefit of the doubt to prove themselves, right, or to get through whatever situation. So
So I'm going with the whole protecting back to the protecting black women thing. That seemed to have been a theme for this season, I guess. But like they need our support. One of my homegirls, shout out to Tracy, man. She's a huge advocate of, you know, protecting black women, and she's kind of put me in my place on several different occasions on, and nothing like bad, but just kind of like calling me out on my bullshit. And it's enlightened me in terms of like just being able to speak up and protect. And I saw a video the other day where one of the Karens stood behind a dude parked too close to her car, so she couldn't open the door the whole way. So she stood behind his car and wouldn't let him back out. And he got out the car. And then some black lady came and like just opened her arm and put her back to the Karen and was like backing her up. Like, come on, brother, back out. And that's the type of shit that we would need to do for them. You know what I'm
right,
saying?
right,
You know what I'm saying?
right.
They don't hesitate to step up and look out for us. And I think we need to make sure we're doing the same thing for them.
That's a fact. That's a fact. That is a fact. I agree with you 100% on that.
Yeah. So
So this
I
may be
think
the theme of this season, unconsciously.
right. So I think that'll be it for this one, Bellhead, man. It's always, you know, always a pleasure. I'm gonna hit you tomorrow. I definitely want to hear about that work thing, y'all. I'd be so intrigued listening to you talk about that shit, man, for real.
Yeah,
Um,
no, for sure.
Nevertheless, y'all, we keeping this party going. Email us at allblackmenneedtherapy@gmail.com. Hit us up on Instagram. We looking for some sponsors. We want some sponsorship because we got some things we need to do behind the scenes. Holla at us. Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. We don't got a Snapchat. Um, I think that's it. Yeah. Do us
I'm
all a
good.
favor per usual, y'all. Hug a black man today and tomorrow. We out.
Peace.
Peace.
Yeah.